All right, welcome everyone, and happy Friday and happy last day of Pride. Hard to believe that we are already at the end of Pride Month. But my name is Lauren Schweppe. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm our Director of Programs and Stakeholder Advocacy here at NGLCC. And I'm so excited to welcome you all to our special Pride edition of Sip and Pitch Fridays. Before we get started, I just want to do some quick housekeeping. So if you're able, please hover over your name with your mouse, click those three dots and rename yourself here on Zoom to add your pronouns so we can make all of our virtual spaces as inclusive as possible. Also, please remain on mute unless you are speaking so we can avoid any unwanted interruptions throughout today's program. Alrighty. So before we get started, I just want to highlight a couple of NGLCC's programs that we have coming up that I'd like to invite you to participate in. So applications are now open for our Accelerate program. For those of you who don't know, Accelerate is our special supplier development program to help you train your business, train you to help grow your business, excuse me. We have featured trainers from across the NGLCC network, including instructors from the George Washington University School of Business, former Fortune 500 CEOs, and many more. So if you'd like to apply for that program, I'm going to drop the application link here in the chat. Additionally, I'd like to highlight the AARP Foundation Upskilling Initiative. The AARP Foundation is partnering with NGLCC on this initiative to provide small to medium-sized companies with an opportunity to upskill their lower earning workers who are over the age of 50. So through the program, we're sponsoring free trainings of your choosing. So that can be anything from a training to help your employee learn a new accounting software or training on a new machine. That's your choice, but the NGLCC and the AARP Foundation are handling all program administration, and we're sponsoring that training. All we ask is that the employer provides a guaranteed wage increase in return. So if you'd like to learn more about that program and apply to participate, that link is in the chat as well. And lastly, I'm very excited to mention our International Business and Leadership Conference, which is coming up this August 15th to 18th in Denver, Colorado. Registration is open, but it is filling up fast. So if you have not yet registered, but you are interested in registering, make sure you do that ASAP. We are going to sell out, and we're getting very, very close to that. So our team will drop the link into the chat here as well, but you can access the registration at nglcc.org/NGLCC23. But now, without further ado, I am very excited to introduce the judges for today's Sip and Pitch program. We have Stacy Harwood, Senior Program Manager of Supplier Diversity at T-Mobile, Benjamin Zwang, Senior Associate of Digital Product Management at American Express, and I'm not sure if Yvette has joined us, but hopefully Yvette will be able to join us. Yvette Liu, Senior Sourcing Manager at Cox. Now we will turn to our we're going to go over some ground rules for today's presentations. So each company is going to have 5 minutes to pitch their business. We ask that there's only one presenter from each participating company. Once you finish your presentation, you'll have 10 minutes for feedback and Q&A from our panel of judges. If you don't have a presentation, that is not a problem. We're here to give informal and real-time feedback on your company's pitch. As I mentioned, please, if you're not speaking, make sure your microphone is muted. Our team is going to be providing warnings at 1 minute and at 30 seconds remaining. So make sure that you're staying on time. And if you hear someone say 1 minute or 30 seconds, don't get angry. They're just trying to keep you on time here. This is a judgment-free zone, and it's designed to help you enhance your pitch and grow your company. So all feedback shared today is in the spirit of collaboration. And last but certainly not least, have fun. I know I love Sip and Pitch, and I think everyone on here does too. So very excited to get started. And for those of you presenting, you can see our timer here where Jesse's screen is. So it'll be easy for you to see, and we'll make sure to pin that as well. Okay, well, now we are going to move into our first presenter for the day. So I am very excited to turn it over to Abigail Stason with Abigail Stason, LLC. Take it away.
Thank you. Here, I'm going to share my screen. I need to be able to share. So it says I can't share screen while the other participant is sharing.
We'll take the screen share off, Lacey, and then you'll be able to share your screen. There you go.
There we go. Excellent. Thank you so much. Let me get set up here. And I'm ready to go when you are.
All right, take it away.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for being here with me. I'm Abigail Stacer from Abigail Stacer LLC. I'm up to human development with a focus on conscious leadership. I offer one-on-one coaching, team workshops. You can bring me into your retreat or offsite, executive forums and other group coaching forums, and e-learning. All services can be offered in person or virtual, along with an e-learning component or any combination thereof. I'm using One Huddle as a platform, a cutting-edge learning platform where you compete and collaborate with your coworkers as a team, and you're learning sticks and also learn worlds. I recently moved to Oregon and have worked in New York City, Silicon Valley, San Francisco, the Atlanta market, and virtually across the globe. So conscious leadership is about bringing more awareness to our collaborations and taking individual and collective responsibility for our behavior. These skills you see here keep people grounded, productive, and constantly learning. Skills such as presence, emotional intelligence, how to overcome imposter syndrome, how to shift from drama to productivity, how to overcome fear, cultivate resilience, and be mentally strong. And of course, unconscious bias and stereotyping, very near and dear to my own heart. There are many more skills. This is just a few. Well, these days, with all the challenges we face, my target is anyone who wants to collaborate more skillfully. So this is, executives, teams, organizations, multinational corporations, companies who are interested in scalable learning solutions. I offer different price points to accommodate budgets. I'm having run a P&L. And given the current economical landscape, I know options are essential. Well, so why am I here? I left a 20-year Wall Street career to follow my passion, human development. Well, why is human development so important? Where our work has evolved. Back in the 1800s, someone spent all day milking cows, growing their food for survival. Then working in factories, we had our place on the assembly line. Even when working at desks, accounting was all manual. Notice in these times that people weren't working with each other. Each had their own independent task. Things aren't like that now. Now we work in teams, and the sharing of information, knowledge, and wisdom is the commodity. Relating and collaborating are these skills of our times. And I'm passionate and enjoy tremendously supporting people and collaborating with more ease. I saw the opportunity to be impactful and went for it. I left Wall Street to teach people skills necessary for this global economy and modern world. I brought my own frameworks for my days in leadership, but then something remarkable happened. People started asking me all sorts of questions. How do I do this? How do I do that? Well, I logged over 500 of them, discovered themes, and created a curriculum, a set of skills and practices that people can actually implement in their day-to-day. Skills that apply across countries, cultures, and time zones. Now, as you're likely noticing, all the combined skills invite people to take responsibility for their behavior. This creates a human culture that quickly shifts from drama and conflict into productivity, innovation, and connection. Aside from that, we know that people want development. So this is a roadmap for you, your employees, and your company. All of the skills that I teach are grounded in neuroscience. Well, why is that? Well, we know much more today, right now, even than just 3 years ago, about how our brains and our biology function, and in turn affect our behavior, and then in turn affect our ability to be collaborative. With artificial intelligence, technology is advancing faster than we are as a human species, and we're playing catch up. Well, my business has evolved to keep up. First, I created the skills and everyone said, great, I want frameworks, not another catchphrase. Then I wrote a book, a handbook, if you will, and people said, okay, great, you should write a book. And then finally, I created these online courses and people said, well, when are you going to create online courses? So I continue to expand my e-learning platform. Out of all of this, I have always heard you should be teaching this to everyone. Well, I'm ready, and my sense is you are too. So thank you for the opportunity to let me pitch to you. There's my website, check out my blogs, but even better, give me a call. Let's have a conversation. I would love to chat with you. Thank you.
Awesome job, Abigail. Right on time. Wow, that was great.
I've been practicing.
It shows. All right, well, we are going to turn it over to our judges to start our feedback. Stacy, could we start with you?
Yes, that would be great. Abigail, I want to echo Lauren. First of all, fantastic presentation in the 5 minutes. You really hit, I think, some of the things that I wrote down. I loved your opening. You really nailed it on the head on what you were, on the services that you could provide and how you could provide it. Loved seeing the roadmap, and I loved how you brought in the evolution, because I don't think we think about that very often.
Yeah.
And so that was really great how you brought that together to kind of make us think, whether we're in supplier diversity or whether we're a buyer, and thinking about where we can go and how we can support you in our supply chain. You're giving, with your presentation, you're really showing us how we can do that and really bringing that. I love the evolution. That's one of my best things for you, that evolution and talking through that, top notch.
Thank you.
I love that you mentioned neuroscience, because I think that I agree with you. We use neuroscience in T-Mobile as well, in DE&I and other aspects. So I love that you brought that in, because I think it's key, and it's helpful to enterprises and all sorts of other businesses. And your closing, I thought your closing was top notch. You didn't speed up to close, but you hit your mark on everything that you wanted to say. And it was a very friendly ending. And I like that. Better yet, give me a call. So you're really opening yourself up to just a great attitude. And I thought it was great. You started us off on the right foot, the first pitch. So nicely done. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thanks for that feedback, Stacy. Yvette, I'll turn it over to you. Any feedback here for Abigail?
Yes, no, Stacy, speak it on point. Honestly, Abigail, you did a great job, literally, definitely on the time, as well as for the information. So I won't repeat what she said, but I will give you a little bit maybe suggestion. Well, first of all, this is my first sip and pitch, so I'm just gonna run with what I thought it should be. Or maybe I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm gonna give you some of my advice.
Feel free.
You can take it.
Hit me between the eyes. I'm ready. Don't worry about it. We're having fun here.
I know that you said that your target audience is everyone, which I agree with you. That everyone should have this essential skill, which is essential for our community as a species of human beings. But I would suggest next time, if you want to pitch for a specific audience, give them a little bit of specific, because we hear a lot of people also do similar things like you do, right?
Yeah.
And there are a lot of them as well on LinkedIn. So you can literally search and you got thousands of results coming up.
Great.
I will probably suggest you, when you do a presentation for a potential client, to be more focused on your target, to make sure that you know their group, because each group need to focus on different type of situation. And the skill they need are very different, right? For example, the executive leadership, the middle manager, the front and center manager to facing the customer, their situations vary, so the skill they need are very specific. So maybe if you want to pitch that and separate them into category, then maybe it will help them understand exactly what kind of value you could bring to them, or maybe provide some example of the situation that you could give them some, maybe a taste example session during the present or initial pitch, to give them some imagination that, oh yeah, this could be useful for our situations like this. What else? Yeah, that would be my suggestion.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you.
Awesome. Great feedback, Yvette. Thank you. Okay, Benjamin, final thoughts here for Abigail.
Well, first I want to say I love that you said you've been practicing. Let's all keep doing that. I know it's great to seem like we just rolled out of bed and have this pitch down and everything, but we all do that still. So I love that you said that. And I definitely agree with Yvette. I think as someone in corporate America, I kind of immediately got, okay, you come in and you help executive teams, you help different teams do workshops. I've been in many of those types of things, but I also was like thinking, okay, maybe if someone wasn't in this background or this wasn't something as tangible to them, maybe how could we hook them from the beginning? But what really caught my ear and really got me excited is that you said you logged over 500 different questions and data points that you get. You seem both informed in the like external space, right? Like your competitors and what businesses and industries need, but then you've also collected all of that internally and start bringing your own perspective into that, right? So that when you go to your next successive customers, you already have 500 different examples logged that you can start tailoring that towards. And that to me got me really, really excited. Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks, judges, for that feedback. And Abigail, great job. Way to start us off with a bang.
Yeah, thanks again for the opportunity to practice. It's always helpful. So thanks for picking me. I really appreciate it. I've been hoping I get picked soon. So thank you.
Of course, well, we're so happy to have you. And great job. All right, well, we are going to turn to our second presenter of the day. I'm very excited to turn it over to carbon reform. Take it away.
Hi, everybody. Apologies for audio coming out of one side and me coming out of the other, my video here, but I see you've pinned my video, so that's great. Let me go ahead and share my slides here. And Jesse, would you mind actually giving access to the one of me that the video is on? That'd be helpful. Thank you. Perfect. Got it. All right. Hi, everybody. My name is Nick Martin, co-founder and chief operating officer at Carbon Reform, where we are creating modular hardware to essentially turn commercial buildings into carbon capture and sequestration machines. And I will note that at the time, we were one of 3 LGBT business enterprises in the state of Delaware. So we hold that pretty strong. So the problem we're facing is current levels of atmospheric CO2, you might know, are around 420 parts per million. But what people don't know is the effects of CO2 on human health and cognition. And when it comes to our target customers, which are commercial building owners and operators, we see that in offices and in schools, the peak level of CO2 is dramatically higher than what is safe for human health. And it turns out that if you actually look at the amount of air that already moves through the built environment, through building ventilation systems, there's about 4 billion tons of CO2 or 4 gigatons of CO2 that move through buildings every year in the US alone. And it turns out to reverse the effects of climate change, scientists have agreed that we need to remove about 10 gigatons or 10 billion tons of CO2. So 40% of the opportunity is just by tapping into the built environment. And that's why we've created the carbon capsule, which is a hardware that retrofits into a building's ventilation system. It is able to clean the air, create energy savings, and permanently sequester carbon dioxide on site. How it works is we essentially divert part of the air, as you see in the orange arrow there, into our device, where we first scrub it of VOC, volatile organic compounds, particulate matter. It then hits our UVC light, which scrubs it from viruses and bacteria. And then finally, our proprietary sorbent is doing the CO2 or carbon dioxide capture. We actually permanently store the CO2 on site into limestone, which we then sell downstream to the concrete industry for green building products. So we have a full circular economy here, and we're permanently storing the CO2. What's left in the blue arrow is the clean air that is ventilated back into the building, reducing the amount of green arrow here, the outside air present. That's where the energy efficiency comes in. You're essentially able to recycle more air, reduce heating and cooling on outside air. So what this means in terms of impact on a per 20,000 square foot basis, we're able to capture and sequester about 15 tons of CO2 per year, produce about 35 tons of a carbon negative limestone to be used for green construction, and through energy efficiency, avoid about 50 tons of CO2 equivalent upstream. Our business model works in 3 steps. The first is a comprehensive indoor air quality assessment and an infrastructure assessment. The second is the deployment of our hardware. And the third is a maintenance program that includes the collection of our byproduct and the servicing of the hardware itself. In terms of customer benefits, the 3 biggest ones are about 40% of the HVAC energy can be saved on the building by implementing our solution. We also plan on sharing in the carbon credits generated from the technology. And then lastly, what we're currently studying is the effects that our device can have on human productivity inside of a building. So for office workers, that is the bottom line. For students, that's their GPA, that's their academic performance. I'll just have this here briefly, but we though we are an early stage company, we have a number of large partners, both in the US and internationally, including the manufacturing side, strategic partners to help us go to market in the US and in Japan in particular, and then several pilot partners. So how we stack up against other competing technology is really what I like to say is our threefold value proposition. It's the ability to create energy savings, improve indoor air quality, and then permanently store CO2 on site into limestone, which makes it unable to be released downstream again. My team is comprised of myself, co-founder, background in chemical engineering and renewable energy technology. My co-founder, Joe, is a climate scientist and material scientist. And we have a talented team of mechanical engineers and scientists and advisors that sort of fill the gaps in with our core team.
1 minute left.
I finished early. So right now we are in the piloting phase of our technology, and I'm very interested in being connected to sustainability-minded commercial building owners, I would say in the mid-Atlantic region, but happy to talk to others across the US. Thank you all for listening.
Nick, fantastic job. That was great. I will turn it over to the judges now. So Benjamin, let's start with you this time.
Yeah, so I think with the last presentation, I think I started saying, oh, I totally got immediately what you were putting down there. I think this was kind of the opposite. I don't have a very scientific or technical background, so but I can say that throughout the presentation, I was really understanding what we were doing here, right? Like I was really kind of understanding why this is important and what it is. Some of just like functional advice is that in the beginning, a lot of those numbers to me really didn't make sense. As someone who doesn't come from a science background, like, I don't know, are these things a lot? Is it a little? Is it concerning? And sometimes you almost can get on like a rabbit hole thinking about what you don't know rather than thinking about what you're trying to solve. But that's why I really, really liked your slide on impact. Felt super, super tangible to me. That's something that I was really able to understand, right? Like, okay, I don't maybe know all the ins and outs of like the issue, but I can understand that by using your product, we're, you know, increasing productivity and decreasing unhealthy air by like 60%. That's something that feels really tangible and understandable to me. I really love the idea of being sustainability minded. That's obviously a buzzword right there, but like pull that in earlier and pull your own story in earlier too. That's definitely something we all want you to lead with. Like actually that was something I was wondering. I was like, what this person clearly knows something about this field, and I'd love to like hear even more about that. So when you did work that in, I was really excited to hear about how it's so tied to your passion and your community as well. So yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for that feedback, Benjamin. Stacy, over to you.
Thank you. First of all, I'm going to agree with Benjamin. That's one of my notes. Start with what you do. Because I was like Benjamin, I was thinking right when you started, talk to me like I'm a 5-year-old. Because like Benjamin said, this isn't necessarily everyone's world, but thank you for what you're doing because we need it. But so I think it was the third slide where it showed your product. And that's really, to me, that's where I wanted you to start. Like, what do you do? And then go into the details about all of the different statistics that you went through about what you can do and how it works. Love that. And I also like the 40, 50, 60%, but I would almost wanted to see what is a case study on the revenue, because I think that's going to be engaging to the folks that you're looking to get to, the Mid-Atlantic, big commercial real estate. I think revenue and sustainability are going to go hand in hand for them. While they want to do sustainability, they're going to also want to see what the bottom line is and how much this can help them and save them money. I was curious as to, I would have liked to see how long you've been in business. So we can know and kind of know how long you guys have been doing this. some really things that I really did like, because I thought the presentation was great. And again, thank you so much for the work that you're doing for our planet and for our people. I loved the stack against. Love that, because I don't know if I'm the only one, I'm probably not, but I stack against everything. When I'm looking to buy something, I'm always like, okay, how does it go against these other products that are the same or close to? So that stack against, that was genius. I really liked that. And last but not least, loved that you talked about your team. I liked seeing them. I liked hearing that you have these wonderful, professional, scientific people that are coming together that are making this. So I think all in all, you did a great job. I know you've got smoke where you're at, and you've got 2 cameras and videos going on, so it's difficult, but I think you did a really good job. I think just a little bit of tweaking on your deck, and you're fantastic. Thank you.
Thanks for that feedback, Stacy. All right, Yvette, final thoughts here for Nick.
Yes, so the 2 judges covered it basically pretty good. I agree with, like, personal story would definitely be helpful. Quick question for you though. You guys are saying that you guys are on the pilot stages. That means that the product has already been formed, or it's being put it onto the test, or you already start selling the product, or this is still in the very early stage of startup?
We're still pre-revenue.
Okay, so you are still haven't figured out, like, for example, if because I do work closely with our facility teams, and I believe that's something that Cox will be interested about. So we would like to see definitely maybe like return on investment type of data, if you could provide something like that. As far as from a sourcing manager perspective, like, imagine I'm somebody gonna look at your solution for my company. That's something I will probably look at. Definitely, it's the first thing is how much it's gonna cost, and what's the return on it? How many years are we looking to get it back? It's the benefit outweighs the cost. That's it. That's my final thoughts.
Awesome. Well, thank you all so much for that feedback. And Nick,
Thank you.
fantastic job. We're so glad that you could join us. All right, I am going to turn it over to our third and final presenter, Reed Lawrence with Sickening Events. Reed, the floor is yours.
Amazing. Thanks so much. Let me just go ahead and share. Perfect. Love it. All right. Cooking with gas today. All right, perfect. Excuse me while I get my presenter mode all checked out. Perfect. All right, I'm ready to go.
Take it away.
Hi, everyone. My name is Reed Lawrence, and I'm the founder of Sickening Events. It's a Philadelphia-based ticketing and event management software that aims to make an impact on our community, making a philanthropic wake as we rise to prominence. Let's start with a few quick facts. According to the 2021 census data, the LGBTQ+ community is the fastest growing minority segment in the US, with close to $1.4 trillion in spending power, which is on par with other minority segments in terms of growth. Overall, event ticketing revenue specifically is set to progress to $90 billion by 2027, up from $78 billion in 2023. With $3.9 billion of that estimated to come from LGBT identifying households. And finally, our comparison of the top nationally recognized nonprofits shows that LGBT focused organizations earn drastically less than their traditional counterparts by a magnitude of 2 to 3 times. This deficit is only magnified on a local scale. During the pandemic, I was thirsty for something fresh and new as an entrepreneur. Yet I wanted to create something that would, one, make an impact on our community, but also be evergreen and make sense at scale. Enter Sickening Events. Sickening Events is the only queer-owned and certified LGBTE ticketing platform in the world. We are an alternative to Eventbrite, AXS, Ticketmaster, and dozens of others, offering our services to all of the same types of clients, not just ones in the queer community. To differentiate ourselves from these often predatory ticketing platforms, we offer organizers a savings of 35 to 95% on ticket service fees and other costs, with a generally larger set of features. We do this by having a smaller team of independent contractors, grassroots marketing efforts, and an overall smarter usage of cloud storage, online resources, and computing with our 21st century approach. One of our most powerful differentiators is our approach on branding, allowing our clients to private label the ticketing event software and brand it as their own, even on their respective websites. Within the next steps of our business plan, we plan to establish what we have dubbed the Fierce Fund. All right. The Fierce Fund is an automated financial platform whose goal will be to distribute a portion of ticketing events revenue to local nonprofits that directly benefit LGBTQ+ causes and people. At a high level, the fund's algorithm will be fed information about all events hosted through the ticketing events platform. Then it will match events with nearby charitable organizations who have registered in our platform via a regulated process and automatically make contributions to those organizations based on the events that take place in their geographic vicinity. This will dramatically increase the impact the events industry has on the queer community using our innovative fintech platform. Now, let's get back to the numbers. Since we launched in July of 2021, our software has saved organizers and their customers over $2 million on service fees, marketing costs, and junk fees. The ticketing events platform is currently available for use in the US, Canada, and the UK, with Mexico, Europe, and the others coming later this year. Ticketing events is a great turnkey solution for large organizations to offload the attendee management process for internal and external events. And ticketing events is absolutely perfect for medium to moderate sized event venues, festivals, annual events, and fundraising. Now, who's ready to join the revolution in event management with the Ticketing Events, the world's only queer-owned event management and ticketing software? That's it.
Amazing. Awesome job, Reed. That was great. To start off our feedback, Yvette, I will turn it over to you.
Yeah, Ray did a great job about telling your story. I really like that, and I really like the fact that you focus on the definitely the LGBTQ fact of it. It definitely helped your company stand out a lot. I also like the fact that you come up with the result already, like showing like what you have already been through. But same as previous presentation, a similar comment that it'd be nice for us to learn more about like the story behind it, or how many years have been in the business, maybe other elements to it. Also, at the same time, while you're explaining on the phase 2, maybe it was because it's Friday afternoon, my mind is not active anymore. I'm a little bit got confused about what this is all about. So maybe it was just me, but just a little bit clarity in that, but maybe in the future. Overall, I think you did a pretty good job. I would suggest you maybe in the future, maybe bring out more of comparison. Like you said, right? You guys are competing with all the big guys, Ticketmaster, all the everything. It would be nice to see, other than the pricing, what else are you guys better at? Like compared to them, you know, you guys have better customer services, you know, your software is more advanced or anything like that. So any advantage you can bring out, I think it will be really helpful when you're selling for your business pitch.
Definitely useful.
Yeah, thanks for that feedback.
5 minutes is not a lot of time, so try to stuff a lot in there.
Well, you did a great job. All right, Benjamin.
That was awesome. 2 things that immediately stood out to me. Well, actually, first, I want to say we need more social enterprises, more companies that are trying to make profit and turning that profit back into their communities and the community. I really like that. And I think you actually started the presentation by saying impact on our community. That's something I wrote down. So from the beginning, I knew there was going to be that impact, and I think that's great. I wish more companies would do stuff like that. So That's awesome. The two things I wrote down were saved organizers $2 million and that you offloaded their burden, because those are the two things that make any person's ears perk up, because you're saving them money, but you're also saving them time. And time for a lot of people is like the most valuable resource we have. And oftentimes we don't have enough people and stuff. So the idea of taking a lot of that off is really great. And I just like this idea because a lot of, like you mentioned, these bigger companies are certainly using a lot of predatory practices, and they're probably going to get in trouble for it sometime soon. So I think that's great. Like you saw that there was you saw very methodically there was an issue in the space already existing, and you chose to enter that market in a very like intentional and diligent way. I think the only thing that I would just like recommend for next time, like I want to see what some of these events are. Like, what are these sickening events? And like, what is your passion? Like, I think you probably weren't sitting at home like, my passion is really for like selling tickets, right? Like, no, I think you were probably passionate about these great events and like the concerts we were missing during COVID. Like I was at a concert this past week and I was like, wow, after 2020, like, I'm just so happy to be here. So I think that's definitely something I would recommend working in. Like we were all feeling that missing during that period. So the fact that it came out of there, I really want to know, like, where was your passion for that? Or like, why was this the kind of avenue you took? So that's just one thing that I'd work in for next time.
Awesome. Great feedback, Benjamin. All right, Stacy, final thoughts here.
Final thoughts. Reed, I think your personality is your greatest asset. You have a wonderful energy and spirit. And I agreed with everything my esteemed judging panel stated. I was with Yvette on, I need a little more explanation on phase 2, because it was like we were just there and then it was like, wait, what are we doing? So a little more explanation, because I think that is fantastic that you're putting there's funds that are going back into the community to support the communities. So just give a little more of an explanation on that. But overall, I think it was great presentation. I love that you're going to fight the big guys, because like Benjamin said, and like you said in your presentation, the predatory actions that these companies are taking is despicable, and the prices of these tickets are outrageous when it's all fees, basically. So I'm glad that you're going to fight the good fight. But overall, I think it was a great presentation. I like what you're doing. I would just, some of the key points that the other two judges made, I agreed with, and so I'm not going to repeat them, but I think this has only been a couple of years, so I think you're going to just keep polishing this and creating a better sickening events company. And
software,
I think
yep.
Software, but still company, right? Company software.
Yep, of course.
it's gonna do well, and I think I'm excited to one day go on to sickening events and buy my ticket there. So great job.
Period. Love it. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Reed, and thanks to all of our presenters today. And before we close out and move into community and conversation, I just want to give the judges the opportunity to offer up some final thoughts here on our presenters in general. Any final tips for anyone who's looking to improve their own presentation? Just any final thoughts you have. And Benjamin, let's start off with you.
Well, I guess my final thought is that a great way to get this conversation going outside of the sip and pitch is to keep getting involved in the NGLCC, and the mentor program is a really great way to be partnered up with someone. I'm shamelessly plugging the mentorship program on behalf of Lauren. But no, I'm sorry, I wasn't prepared for any closing thoughts. So thank you everyone for coming. I really enjoyed all the presentations, and happy Pride to everyone.
Thanks, Benjamin. We love a shameless plug. We love it. All right, Stacy, any closing thoughts here?
I think my closing thoughts would be, all these presenters were fantastic, but I think I would tell any LGBTBE to, have their overall presentation, but when they're getting ready to present to, any one of us or any other business that they're going in front of, to tailor it a little bit to either look at a pain point that they're looking to solve that they have seen, or a value add right? And tailor it to that specific. And I think all the judges kind of hit on that, because when we were looking for, wait, what do you do? Start with what you do. Start with how you can support us, how you can help us. I think that's really important. But keep the energy look at the energy that these pitchers had today, and really show yourselves and show your business, because we can see it and we can feel it, and that's really what intrigues us to want to learn more, to be your champion and your liaisons within our supply chains. And happy Pride, everyone. It's been a great month. I can't believe June's already over, so glad to be here. Thanks so much, and I hope everyone has a wonderful Friday.
Stacy, thank you so much. All right, Yvette, bring us home.
Yeah, so I just want to say that Stacy and Benjamin, you two are such a great judges. As my first time attempt to being a judge here, I feel like myself is a little bit lack of that ability. I'll do better next time. But overall, all the presenters, great job. I really appreciate you putting the work and time. And definitely, I feel like presenting is definitely a lot of practice. So I can see a lot of the effort that you guys put in. I'm happy to be in and to join this kind of event this time.
Yvette, you were a rock star too. Don't say that. I wouldn't have known it was your first judging, so you did awesome too.
Awesome, thank you.
Took the words right out of my mouth, Stacy. Yeah, I bet you did a great job, and Benjamin and Stacy, as did both of you. We really appreciate you all taking the time to help our businesses improve their pitches. And to our 3 businesses that presented today, you did a fantastic job. So great work, everybody. But don't go anywhere, because we're going to move into community and conversation. So now that we've had our pitches, this is our opportunity to get to chat a little bit, get to know each other a little bit better. So as we are on the final day of Pride Month, which I also cannot believe that we are at the end of June. Just like to open up and ask folks, how did you celebrate Pride this year? And I can start with me while folks think about their answer. We can also just take the screen share off so we can go into gallery and see everybody that we have on the call here. But I actually live up in Vermont, and we do not celebrate Pride until September up here. So I haven't been able to go to any in-person Pride events as of yet this year, but I've been living vicariously through all of my friends who are living in the big cities and celebrating remotely, and also enjoying the Netflix Pride stuff that they have on there. I love that, and learning more about the history of Pride, and ensuring that we're honoring those who came before us and started the fight and continued the fight and are still in the fight. But I want to open up. So how is everybody here celebrating Pride? Feel free to unmute yourself and we can chat about it.
Well, I've had a couple of really fun dates, and I made sure I signed up for the NGLCC conference and booked my hotel and airfare to celebrate Pride for myself. And, I love what I do for a living. So it's like I help people to not discriminate against others. So that's like my life's calling, and I like celebrate Pride every day with that. Not to sound corny, but, I live it and breathe it, because it's, after being a female on Wall Street for 20 years, I'm 57, it was quite discouraging, and I don't want others to have to go through that. So I really love being a part of the community. And thank you to the judges for taking time out of your busy days to listen to us pitch again. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Abigail. Genesis, I had seen that you had unmuted.
Yes, first of all, just thank you all. I'm just so happy to see your faces and just even your names here on the screen today. I'm a lawyer in New York, and the last couple of days, if you've been paying attention to the Supreme Court, has been really awful. So it's just great to be here and be with this community. So for Pride, I live in Brooklyn. I went to Brooklyn Pride a couple of weeks ago and had a fantastic time just walking around looking at the stalls. Some random guy bought me like a margarita. I mean, it was just like such a great day. And like Abigail, I'm also going to the conference in August and would love to meet up with anyone who's here. I had so much fun last year and can't wait to go back.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing. We're so glad you're joining us for conference. Pride in August in Denver. Second Pride. All right. Anyone else want to share?
Lauren, I want to share.
Go for it.
So hi, everybody. My name is Lily. And I recently just joined the NGLCC team. So I'd say I'm celebrating Pride by working with NGLCC and starting this new career path and having a great time doing it.
Well, Lily, we're so happy to have you on the team, and folks are going to be seeing a lot more of Lily. She's coming on board as our programs and stakeholder engagement assistant. So we are so happy to have you, and thanks for sharing. Would anybody else like to share?
I just want to add, Peter Ike from AM Corporation, that for the couple of events that I went in the month of June, I really felt that there was an increase in attendance, an increase in awareness, and a more passionate Pride Month than I think we've experienced in a number of years, maybe both a combination of the pandemic and a combination of the extreme right, which is kind of really pushed into such local issues, where I even live in the small town of Sable, Long Island. Some of you might be familiar with it, as it's kind of a gateway to Fire Island, but even at the local Board of Ed meetings, you know, people putting proposals on to try and ban certain books. So it was really good to see the community come together, to see events sold out. And I appreciate all of you guys for organizing this and extending an invitation to me.
Peter, we're so glad that you can join, and thanks so much for sharing. Would anyone else like to share?
I can share, Lauren. Hi, everyone. My name's Jessie. I live in Baltimore, Maryland, and our Pride weekend was last weekend, but I was out of town celebrating a bachelorette. There isn't really a good non-binary word for bachelorette, bachelorettes. Maybe we can invent that word. But for my two friends who are getting married, who are both trans, and we had a lovely Pride weekend of our own in the mountains in the Poconos in Pennsylvania. So it was nice alternative to Baltimore's Pride weekend.
Got to get in touch with Webster's dictionary and get bachelorettes added. I love that. That's awesome.
You totally win.
That was gold.
Yeah, that was great. Anyone else? See a few folks have unmuted.
I can share. My name is Rebecca. I live in the Knoxville, sort of Tennessee area. Our Pride event was around the 10th. And like, so we did pass legislation that banned drag sort of right before that. And usually our legislation takes effect July 1st. This one actually took place specifically to hinder Pride celebrations. But the good news is that a judge did rule that unconstitutional, just not quite in enough time for our main sort of Pride organization to come back and do a parade. Because when they came out with the ban, our Pride said, you know, maybe not a parade, but we'll kind of schedule that for October, and we'll do kind of other things. There was a giant market event that we put on every year, that a lot of vendors come in. The company that I work for was represented there, and I got to go and hang out with them, and lots of great food and people and fun. And the cool thing about this is, you know, the ban was ruled unconstitutional, fantastic. And then we didn't have enough time to really get everybody together for a parade, and it just sort of actually happened on its own. We have a group of people that kind of go to all of the parades around town that have made their own giant paper mache Dolly Parton, because of course. And so she showed up along with several people who were playing a few instruments, maybe like, you know, 5-6 people. And then like everybody at the market was just like following along. So we didn't have like, you know, cars and stop traffic. People were kind of like coming around us, but very, you know, very respectfully. And we just had our own parade sort of impromptu because of this. And it was such an amazing, wonderful event. And I'm so glad that we got to kind of do that anyway. So that's my wonderful Pride story.
Well, Rebecca, thanks for sharing. That's amazing. And I don't know if folks know the band Boy Genius, but they performed in drag at their show in Nashville, which I loved, and it was fantastic to see more support. And it was great to see that got the law got shot down as well. So that's great. Okay, anyone else?
Yeah, I'm Laura. I'm in Kansas City, Missouri, and I'm a little bit more chronologically gifted than many people on this call. So I've seen years and years of Pride celebrations, and Kansas City had the longest parade that it has ever had. It was absolutely amazing to see the support, particularly from the public officials and the fire department and the police department and all of those things, which was just absolutely fantastic. On the sad side, well, actually, this is still the good side. My partner's brother, sister-in-law, and their 4 children came with us. Their oldest child had come out about 2 years ago. But the sad part was that right before we walked to the parade, Mom and Dad had to have a little chat with the children about what to do if there's an active shooter situation. And I just was so sad that that now has become much more commonplace to really kind of be afraid in those venues. So that was sad, but overall, it was a great day.
Thanks for sharing that, Laura. And yes, I agree with the chat. Chronologically gifted is another great saying. We're getting some good stuff here on this call. I got to add into my vocabulary. April, I saw you unmuted.
Yeah, I unmuted. I'm here in San Francisco, and Pride was just like the world's longest and largest corporate chain of events for me this year that I've ever seen, because of the NGLCC certification and what we do in our business. Like we talk a lot about being queer owned. We do recruiting, and so we support also queer folks that are looking for a job. So there was just so many events of like business related events that our Pride Parade came, and I was exhausted and was like, you know what, I'm staying home and resting today. So next year we're gonna party.
April, I totally feel you on that one. As working in an LGBT organization during Pride Month, there's a lot of the corporate events you get to go to. So I feel you on that one. I've luckily, though, been able to speak on a lot of really cool panels and events this month with some of our corporate partners. And we're very thankful that we have corporate partners who are interested in engaging in that way and having folks from our community come and speak with their teams. So, but it is exhausting. So I feel you on that one. All right, folks, we got time for a couple more if some more people want to share before we close out today and close out Pride Month. Bob, I think you're speaking and you're unmuted, but we're not hearing you. Maybe disconnect with the headset. Still can't hear you. Well, if you'd like to share in the chat, Bob, feel free. But anyone else want to share? Yeah, Reed?
So I don't really have anything like super exciting, but you know, as someone who like lives in the event world, I think it's kind of crazy that I managed to go to Delaware State Pride, Philadelphia Pride, DC Pride, and in New York Pride. So
wow.
Like also exhausted.
Yeah, I mean, I hide it well, but yeah, on the inside, I'm like basically dead. So
you gotta go sleep for the rest of July and recover from your
until the conference.
Yeah, just in time for conference. You've got a month and a half to prepare. So you're good. Pride-O-Rama, yeah, Pride Marathon. Yeah, I love that. All right,
I'm happy to share as well.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, Jerry, my name is Jerry Guinan. I'm in Sydney, Australia at the moment, so it's very, very early Saturday morning here. Apologies, I slept in a little bit, so I missed the first presentation, so I'm really sorry about that. This is I run a market research agency, and we serve, all of our clients are pharmaceutical companies. Predominantly we work in the healthcare space, and we got introduced to NGLCC via one of our large corporate American clients who really have Johnson & Johnson, so they're doing a lot with supplier diversity. And I actually found out about the organization through them, and we've been an internationally recognized LGBT supplier since 2021. So this is my first time to participate in an event. I think it's amazing. It's like getting up at 5 a.m. is a bit hard on a Saturday morning, but I'm so glad I did. I think it's a wonderful community and a wonderful, wonderful organization, and very, very happy to be part of it, and very proud to be able to reference the organization when speaking with clients. So really, really grateful. We hosted World Pride in February, so I don't know if anybody came down to Sydney for that, but so Sydney held World Pride in February, and that was a massive, massive event. I mean, I think the city estimated there were like 500,000 visitors from all over Australia, New Zealand. I think every queer person in Australia was in Sydney during World Pride in February. And then a lot of people from the US as well. That was like 17 days of events. So it was, we were pretty, and then I got COVID at the end of it, not surprisingly. So it was a wonderful time though. We do Pride Month in June here, but it's not as big as in the States. It's not, and I think everyone was prided out after the end of February. But anyway, I just wanted to say hi, and we're glad to be part of this community.
Gary, that's amazing. Thank you so much for joining us all the way from Sydney. I love the background with the pride flag on the Opera House. That's pretty amazing. But serious dedication, and we appreciate you getting up early in the morning to come and hang out with us virtually.
Yes, I hope to make this a regular habit and join these whenever they happen.
Definitely.
I've got holiday plans in August. Otherwise, I think I would have loved to have gone to the conference. So best wishes to everyone.
Well, thanks, Gary. Next year, you got to join us next year. Bob, I think I heard you if you want to try speaking.
Am I back?
Yes, there we go.
All right, thanks. This is Bob Chapsky from American Express. I am part of our BRG, our LGBT BRG, and I live virtually in Boston, but we have 16 chapters globally. And we had the good fortune to all travel to New York for like a global summit. And so that was a lot of fun. We had people from Sydney, we're talking about World Pride, and we had people from other parts of the world. And it was just really energizing and great to get everybody together and talk about the great things that the BRG is doing. And it was the week before Pride in New York, so there's a lot of great energy in the air.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing, Bob. That's great. Yeah, I had the pleasure of going to I think it was the 50th anniversary of the Stonewall riots in New York City a few years ago, and that was an amazing time to be in New York and to be celebrating the LGBTQ community. I love Pride in New York. All right, folks. Well, thank you all so much for joining. This was really amazing, and it's just great to be able to chat with everybody, even virtually. And it sounds like we'll get to chat with even more of you at the conference in August, which we're really excited about. And happy Pride to all of you. Thanks for joining us for our Pride edition of Sip and Pitch, and for staying on for community and conversation. And I hope that everyone has a wonderful weekend ahead and holiday week next week. So thanks, everyone, and have a good one. Bye, everybody.
Thank you, everyone, so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Lauren, for hosting.
Yeah, thanks, Lauren. Really appreciate it.
Bye, everyone.